Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with great artists having bad days. It happens to all of them. It even happens to the best of them. And particularly, it happened to George Szell. The George Szell. George Szell. Yes, the mystical, magical George Szell. But he attempted Mahler 6. Ooh, this is a bow wow of a Mahler 6. Not entirely Szell's fault. This is a live recording. And because it's a live recording, first of all, he doesn't take the exposition repeat. Not that he would have anyway, but I suspect in a studio he might have been persuaded to do it a little differently. But beyond that particular bit, it's very, very dully recorded. And, the Szell Cleveland recordings sonically, and many of them were nothing to write home about anyway, but this is really, really cut off in the upper frequencies. It sounds constricted and dry and just dull. That's the word, which makes the performance sound dull, actually duller than it might otherwise be. What was the actual year that this thing came out? When was it recorded? Let me see here. Does it say? It says recording in Severance Hall. Yes, we knew that. Recorded at a live concert in October 1967. So by then, Sony was certainly making very fine-sounding recordings in Cleveland. They certainly could, but this was not one of them. And let's face it, Mahler 6 in bad sound is just, you don't even want to go there. I mean, this is a symphony of extremes of quiet with the cowbells tinkling and the celesta in the background and moments of unbelievable stillness and near inaudibility, and then volcanic, unbelievable, explosive climaxes, and they just aren't here. Now, even if they had been there, I don't think that Szell's interpretation was up to the measure of the work. Szell famously and was proud of the fact that he was not a Mahlerian, and whatever that meant. And as a result of that, his Mahler performances were highly variable. Number 4, lots of people like. It has never been on my list of favorites to the extent that I think it sounds a little bit mechanical. And again, Szell seemed to be immune to Mahlerian atmosphere, to the coloration that Mahler wanted, to the expressionistic side, to the fabulously glorious orchestration. He wasn't immune to it in Strauss, but he was in Mahler. And I think actually he was one of those guys who sort of represents what the problem of Mahler was in getting wider acceptance as at the beginning of the 20th century, because Mahler's idea of the symphony was so eclectic. It has the vulgarity. It has, things borrowed from places, everywhere. It has these huge, huge vistas and strange juxtapositions. And I think that especially for a conductor like Szell, who was so amazing in the classical repertoire, this was not what a symphony was supposed to be. The actual content of the symphony was something that he was not prepared to accept. And that's fine. So he didn't conduct most of it. And good for him for not doing it. Because when he did do it, like I said, the results were variable. Number 4 was okay. It still, I think, was lacking a little bit in sheer glamour and atmosphere, or the spookiness in the scherzo, and but it's good. It's okay. The 9th he did, there's a live 9th. Not very good. A very good Das Lied von der Erde, which you might expect because Szell is basically accompanying, as he was in that excellent Das Knaben Wunderhorn that he conducted, that unfortunately had Elisabeth Schwarzkopf doing her cat and doing the meow, and Fischer Dieskau doing the dog. He was the bark. It was meow, meow, woof, 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 meow. That was the two of them. But Szell was fabulous. So, yeah, he could do it. He could do it, but with the 6th, you have all those moments. The opening of the slow movement, which he takes very, very quickly. It's really lickety split, and it seems to have almost no atmosphere at all. It sounds very denatured, possibly a result of the sonics. Those spooky moments in the finale, which is very well paced, you can always count on Szell to really get the structure. The whole symphony is well shaped. Even the quick slow movement. I mean, it all makes sense. It's really, that makes perfect sense. But wow, the hammer blows are non-existent. The recessed cowbell alpine episodes, they just go away. They don't have presence and tangibility. It's really, and it's Szell, the introduction to the finale, with all that expressionistic, da 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 da, wow, the horns. It's horror movie music, and Szell wasn't going to do movie music. He just wasn't. He didn't get it, because in Mahler, these atmospheric moments, these touches of color, they're not just gratuitous, as they are often with Strauss. Actually, they have formal implications for the structure of the work. And so the better you realize them, the more coherent the whole thing becomes. And I don't think Szell quite apprehended that, because it was not part of his view of what symphonies ought to be. So as a result, this performance of the Sixth is something of a failure. Yes, the great Szell could blow it, and he blew it here. Happens to the best of us. And he's only human, and doesn't it make us feel better that he had his difficulties? And they're really fairly easy to pinpoint what exactly those difficulties were. And he gave it a shot, so it was good for him. I mean, he did give it a try. I'm not surprised this was the other one he gave a try to, because it is Mahler's most classically structured symphony. And it was the one I think Szell probably thought that because of that, he would be able to do it justice. But there's a lot more besides that, and Szell does not find it. So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.